I'm able to find the humility in shutting up. Hey everybody, welcome to the Hickson Diaries, where we talk about my life as an American living here in the UK. In this video, I wanted to talk about how moving here has actually helped me find a simpler and easier life. So living here in England tends to be a much more low-key way of life. That's pretty obvious to anyone who's ever even seen a movie about British culture. There's a big focus on organizing your day in a way that works for you, and it incorporates the simplicity that we don't have in America at all. Americans like to pile things on throughout the day and get as much done as possible in the 24 hours that we have. Whereas England's more like, it's okay, next week will be all right, tomorrow's fine, we can get to it tomorrow. Oh, there's a delay. Oh, okay, we'll have to figure that out. There's this sense of urgency, and the hustle and bustle is very different. It's not that it isn't here, and it's not that there isn't those types of pressures to make deadlines and things like that. It's just that English people and British people as a whole, from my experience, seem to be just a little bit more easygoing when these things come up. Overall, as a culture, it's just a lot calmer, and it's a lot more as a collective kind of understanding that, okay, we're going to get through this. Don't worry, it's not the end of the world. We're going to figure out the next steps. And it just really, it helps me realize how to keep my life simple and how to lead my family, and also remind myself that you can live a life with less stress and more fulfillment, and it doesn't have to be so complicated as we make it in the United States. In England, the work-life balance is very important, and it's actually a priority. Many workplaces emphasize the date that you work within the times allotted, or the times that you are assigned or contracted to work, and that working outside of that timeline should be considered a rarity. And they also emphasize you taking your time off or having your holidays off, not being pressured or feeling pressure in any way to check emails on your days off, or to call into the office on your vacation to make sure everything is good, or to not take the full amount of annual leave that you're entitled to. And that's very different to the work-life balance in America, where work is very much first, and you are expected to take longer hours. You're almost made to feel bad if you call in sick, and it actually makes it really hard for you to unplug and recharge. So I learned by moving here to the UK that, prioritizing that downtime and really settling and taking care of my mental well-being, and recognizing that that time off is available to me, and that I don't have to participate in work or society if I decide not to for that time off, is okay, acceptable, and that everything will still be in place when I go back to work. And that there will not be any repercussions for any time off that I take, whether it be for an illness, whether it be for pleasure, or whether it be just because I need a mental health day. And that perspective is a huge shift in life. It's just a huge life-changing shift, basically. The British minimalist living lifestyle. Now, not minimalist in the sense that they're not consumers, because they are. The consumer culture is big here as well. And there's a lot of people that like nice stuff and like having their nice stuff. And there's no judgment attached to that at all. But in America, there's almost an expectation of having those material things and needing those material things, and that you are not successful or you're not doing well in life if you don't have those material things. And here in England, there's less focus on excess and more focus on practicality. Whereas in America, accumulating things is much more of the focus of your life. And living here in the UK has really helped me just become a bit more intentional about my lifestyle and deliberate about my money and my budgeting and what I really want to spend my money on and what I really want to spend my time on and what I want to get out of it, rather than buying for the sake of buying or shopping being a stress relief or shopping being something that is a pastime. It's more about reducing unnecessary purchases and really focusing my money and resources on things that actually add value to my life. Everybody knows that the tea culture is extremely important to the UK. It's not just a drink. It's a ritual. It's a mid-morning break. It's a way to just reflect and unwind, right? The tea culture is actually a really good representation of the lifestyle that British people lead. It's about slowing down and taking time. If you think about it, American culture, it runs on coffee. There's actually a coffee company called Dunkin' Donuts, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard of, where their motto, their tagline is "America runs on Dunkin'." So you have to have coffee in America in order to keep going, because there's so much to do and you have to always be on the go and you have to work so hard and you never get a chance to really sit down and relax, and it's go, go, go all the time. The hustle and bustle runs your life. That's a very good representation of life in America, whereas calm down and have a cup of tea is a very good representation of British life. And having experienced them both, I much prefer calming down and having a cup of tea than having to grab a cup of coffee on my way somewhere in order to be able to have the energy to deal with whatever the next thing is on my agenda. I never realized how driving everywhere has such an effect on your life as well. Growing up in America, especially where I'm from in the northeast of America, where there's lots of traffic and you don't have a lot of access to public transport, and I couldn't wait to get my license because it was the only way I could get out of my neighborhood. That car-dependent society really adds a lot of stress to your life because it's so car-dependent. A lot of people have really long commutes and you're in your car for a really long time. And it's stressful. And then if your car breaks down or it needs repairs, then the money and the financial influence of it as well is extremely stressful. Plus, how are you going to get to work, especially when they don't really give you that much time off? In Britain, they have such a good public transport system, and the access is so vast. You can access it from almost anywhere. It's not just about like the London Underground and the tube system, which is great. It's fantastic. But it's also just about the bus system and the rail system throughout the UK. It's still a tough commute, don't get me wrong. It's still busy and everything, but it's just a lot easier to know you have those backup plans if you are a driver. Or if you're someone like me who's not a driver, it's actually taken a lot of stress out of my life not having to drive. It's a little bit stressful, like when trains get canceled or when buses don't show up or there's a strike. That's kind of annoying. It's a lot less stressful overall because I'm not sitting in traffic. I'm not worrying about stopping and getting gas all the time. I'm not worried about the wear and tear on my car. I'm not worried about buying new tires. I'm not worried about driving in bad weather. I just have to worry about making my train or catching my bus. That has actually simplified my life in more ways than I ever thought. And I never thought that I would embrace it as well and as with open arms like I do now. And to the point where I don't even know if I want to ever have a car again. So the British have a very modest value system. It's kind of tagging on to that minimalist, less is more attitude that we spoke about earlier. But the subtlety of life And the modesty actually simplifies your life as well. I'm not saying modest in the sense where people don't dress a little provocatively or aren't outlandish in any way, but just about being humble a little bit more. And even if you're dressing up, or you're dressing to the nines, or you want to be a little more flashy, you're still not doing it, in most cases anyway, in a show-offy kind of way. It's more like it's just your style, it's just what you like, and it's just part of who you are and part of your personality. In America, because there's such a stronger focus on the individualism, showcasing personal achievements and wealth and prosperity and success is the norm. And you're almost looked at in a very kind of condescending or looked down on if you're not super flashy, or if you're not willing to just be kind of loud and really vibrant in your dress or in your mannerisms. I'm able to find the humility in shutting up and just sitting back here in living in the UK, and I kind of like it. And it's actually, I've learned a lot by doing that. And I don't know that it's something that that I would have been able to do if I didn't move to the UK and get entrenched in these circles. And it's allowed me to have definitely more authentic experiences, but it's also allowed me to just understand people better, understand my position better, and also has given me some tools to communicate a little bit better and understand other people's communication, which has been something that's been a big challenge for me here. So I'm really, really grateful for that value of low-key subtlety and modesty. The art of cueing. This one is going to be a little bit cheeky. And it could come off as funny to some people and maybe a little bit like it doesn't really belong on this list. But let me explain. So the British are really well known for their love of like orderly fashion, single file, don't cut the line, and wait your turn kind of mentality and approach to a lot of things. And it doesn't matter if you're at a store, if you're at an event, if you're waiting for public transit, or if you're, in a pub waiting to be served. You should be waiting your turn unless someone allows you or offers to have you go ahead of them. And it's not that Americans are impolite or don't recognize the need to form a line or anything. It's just because there's so much going on and we're always on the go in America, we tend to be less patient. And we also are a little bit more spontaneous. So rushing through lines or cutting ahead or finding a way to get around the line is almost, I know you're going to think I'm being obnoxious, but it's almost a necessity in life in America because nobody has any time to do things and everyone always feels under the gun all the time. So maybe it's not a necessary thing. Maybe that wasn't the right way to describe it, but it's definitely something that people feel like they have to do or feel like is a valid or viable option for them because of the constant pressure that we're under. Being able to master the art of waiting my turn, no matter where the line is or where, I have to wait, has aided in me slowing down and simplifying my life. And I'm not going to lie, I still get frustrated sometimes because my instinct is to be like, come on, everybody's got a place to go, everybody's got things to do. Why are you taking so long to figure out your order? But, and sometimes I find myself mentally talking to myself, talking myself down and be like, no, it's not really that big a deal. You need to just chill out. It'll be okay. You're not going to miss your train or, there'll still be enough muffins. It's okay. Being able to really just embrace that, understand the American kind of influence of it, and then be able to embrace and accept the slower, more organized kind of fashion of the way things are done here in England has just really helped me learn the patience, and also has helped me control my frustration and my anxiety a lot more. So in the end, moving here to the UK just really has taught me how to keep it simple, stupid. It's taught me how to kiss. It's taught me how to just slow down and enjoy life more and focus on what is valuable to me, to relax and just be more deliberate and mindful of my approach to life. And if you're thinking of moving abroad, or if you're just thinking of adapting your life to a little bit more of a slower pace, or a little bit more of a relaxed atmosphere around you, then I would definitely suggest adopting some of these British lifestyle ways. It'll definitely help you de-stress, it'll help you with your anxiety, and it'll help to simplify your life, and you'll just be able to enjoy it more. Learn how to kiss.